Welcome back. Well, as many countries try to lessen their dependency on fossil fuels, there's now a drive to seek alternative sources. The most popular alternative is biofuel, where Brazil has taken the lead. Squeezing ethanol from sugarcane, they export billions of litres to the energy-hungry United States each year. Malaysia is also capitalising on the growing demand in converting palm oil to biodiesel. Wind power is becoming popular too. Germany, the US and India have all made large investments in wind turbines. And with bountiful sunshine, Spain is home to Europe's first commercially operated solar power plant. But even as the search continues for different types of fuel, oil remains the primary source of energy. Well, let's rejoin our guests in Munich, Jörg Schindler, member of the Energy Watch Group and author of that report, and in London, Mamdouh Salama, an international oil expert and consultant for the World Bank. Jörg Schindler, let me start with you, if I may, because biofuels seem to be the buzzword these days as an alternative source of energy. But how significant will their impact be on the decline? I mean, is it too little too late, perhaps?
Yes, but even if one would have started earlier, the potential of the contribution of biofuels is rather limited. Yeah? We only have started to use biofuels in a slightly greater degree, and we have already very many problems. We have problems affecting the price of food crops. We have ecological problems, especially with palm oil in Indonesia and Malaysia, because if palms are planted on rainforests and on peat soils, you have CO2 emissions which far exceed the emissions of conventional diesel and gasoline, and therefore Indonesia right now is number 4 in global greenhouse gas emissions, behind the US, China and the European Union, solely due to their palm oil planting.
Mamdouh Salama in London, let me come to you and just ask you, I mean, can biofuels like ethanol and biodiesel bridge this gap between global demand and world supply?
The simple answer is no. But before I answer it fully, I would like to correct one thing. Oil, conventional oil, will be with us all through the 21st century, albeit at a very high price. Now, coming back to biofuels, biofuels production in 2000 currently amounts to around 600,000 barrels. The bulk of it comes from the United States and Brazil. And while Brazil is a successful story simply because it fits 3 conditions: 1, pioneering technology; 2, huge cultivable land; and 3, huge amount of rainfall. While you can replicate the technology anywhere, you cannot expand the cultivable area in the world, nor can you increase the rainfall. Consequently, what applies to Brazil doesn't apply to the United States and other ethanol and biodiesel producers. For instance, the United States, if it wants to replace 10% of gasoline with ethanol, it has to plant 40% of the entire United States. This means it will have an adverse impact on food production worldwide. And the total production of ethanol in 2006, to ethanol and biodiesel, amounting to less than 1% of the global demand for conventional oil. So there is a lot of exaggeration about biofuels, and we noticed also that the minute the United States increased production of ethanol, food prices have gone up in terms of beef, lamb, fish, animal feed, wheat, all these. So it is not a bonanza, it is just a drop in the ocean, but it is helpful.
Jörg Schindler in Munich, let me bring you back into the debate here, because some critics may say that your report is just another attempt to push the alternative energy agenda. What's your response to that?
Well, what the consequences are, everybody has to answer for himself, yeah? Because I think what we predict regarding the decline of future oil supply, it will happen in any case. It's not anything voluntary or what you can avert, yeah, because we have seen it happening, this decline, in mature regions like the USA. We've seen it and see it happening in the North Sea. We see it in Mexico. So there's nothing that can be done. And what to do in such a situation? Of course, to use all our techniques more efficiently regarding energy. And the prime area that has to be addressed is transport, especially road transport, but also aviation. And what we need there is much more efficient cars. That's the first step, and it can easily be done because now the average car uses, let's say, 6 to 7 liters per 100 kilometers. It's no problem to build cars which only need half the energy. And regarding renewable energies, regarding alternatives, the big potential there is not biofuels. The big potential is in generating renewable electricity, because the potentials there are, let's say, a factor of 10, roughly higher than the biomass potentials for energetic uses. And this is by using wind power, this is by using photovoltaics, this is by using solar thermal power stations, as one is now built in Spain, as you said at the beginning. So our system will move towards electricity as a primary energy source. It has to, but it...
Yeah, I just wanted to bring him back, Mamdouh Salami, into the debate, because global warming, Mamdouh Salami, is also a serious problem. I mean, will climate change force us to change our energy consumption habits by burning less fossil fuels?
This is already happening. For instance, we have a clean coal technology for electricity generation, and of course you have natural gas and nuclear energy. But the continuous rise in the oil price is giving an impetus into renewable energy. For instance, in the case of electricity, for solar energy and wind energy, as well as geothermal energy, as is happening in Iceland now. But when it comes to the transport fuels, unfortunately, we don't have many alternatives yet. We can ask the car manufacturers to increase the mileage per gallon to maybe 70, 80 miles a gallon. That will reduce the demand for crude oil. However, there are some technologies which will help us currently. One, an interim measure, which is introducing flexi-tank hybrid cars, rechargeable hybrid cars, until we master the hydrogen fuel cells. A country like Iceland is blessed with geothermal power and water. Consequently, they are aiming to achieve what is described as the hydrogen economy, that is using hydrogen from water to in a fuel cell to drive cars instead of gasoline. That could be achieved in the next 20 to 30 years in Iceland, but it cannot be achieved anywhere else, simply because Iceland, vis-a-vis the hydrogen economy, is in a similar situation to Brazil with ethanol.
Okay, I want to get a final thought. Okay, because we're running out of time, I need to get a final thought from Jörg Schindler there in Munich. Jörg Schindler, is there a point at which the price of oil could lead to a global recession? And how far away are we from that point, do you think?
Well, I don't know for sure, but the price rise up to now hasn't really hurt the global economy. But, of course, it has hurt the very poor countries. Yeah, there is a shortage of oil in the very poor countries in Africa and elsewhere. So these countries have already been priced out of the market to a considerable extent. Now the bidding is between rich countries, and the supply will get less and less. So there certainly will be a point where the economy will be hurt. Yeah? But it's not very clear yet how far off we are. It might even be a doubling in the price till really the effect in rich countries is noticeable.
OK, Jörg Schindler in Munich and Mamda Salama in London. I'm afraid we have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you so much for joining us here on this edition of Inside Story. We welcome your comments and your suggestions. Please email them to us at insidestory@aljazeera.net. From the whole team here, goodbye for now.